It is no secret that the United States spares no expense when it comes to building and ramping up its military arsenals, and it is also no surprise that they have spent a staggering $13 billion on a state-of-the-art aircraft carrier for the U.S. Navy. The USS Gerald R. Ford is a futuristic weaponized ship that is set to take the enemy's camp by surprise. It is said to be a silent weapon of mass destruction, and it is about to be launched. Is this groundbreaking invisible ship the future of naval warfare? What is the stealth technology behind the USS Gerald R. Ford that sets it apart from its predecessors? Join us as we explore the capabilities of the United States' new invisible aircraft carrier and how it has taken the world by storm. The United States' Gerald R. Ford, or CVN-78 aircraft carrier, isn't just any aircraft carrier. It's the lead ship of its class for the United States Navy and is named after Gerald Ford, the 38th President of the United States. It was initially slated for deployment in 2018, and it is now set to make its debut. This aircraft carrier is no joke. It's been designed to surpass its Nimitz-class predecessors in terms of advanced technology and combat readiness, and its key features include an electromagnetic aircraft launch system, advanced weapons elevators, and stealth, which we will discuss later on in this video. However, the journey hasn't been smooth sailing. The project encountered several setbacks, leading to delays and reliability issues. But after years of rigorous maintenance and testing, the $13 billion flagship of a new class of aircraft carrier is in its final phase of maintenance. The ship has successfully completed explosive shock trials and is currently undergoing a maintenance period, after which it will be ready for deployment. Why is this aircraft so important? To fully understand why this is groundbreaking, it is important to understand what the aircraft carrier of the U.S. Navy is and its peculiarities. The aircraft carriers of the U.S. Navy are massive warships equipped with a full-length flight deck and all the facilities needed for carrying, arming, deploying, and recovering aircraft. Now, why is this important? Well, it's typically the capital ship of a fleet. This means it allows a naval force to project air power anywhere in the world, without relying on local bases for staging aircraft operations. The evolution of these carriers is quite interesting. They've come a long way since the early 20th century, when they were wooden vessels used to deploy balloons. Today, they're nuclear-powered warships that carry a variety of aircraft, including fighters, strike aircraft, and helicopters. But here's a fun fact. While heavier aircraft like fixed-wing gunships and bombers have been launched from aircraft carriers, they've never actually landed back on one. The aircraft carrier is a marvel of modern naval warfare. With its diplomatic and tactical power, mobility, autonomy, and diverse capabilities, it often serves as the centerpiece of modern combat fleets. Both tactically and strategically, it has replaced the battleship as the flagship of a fleet. One of the key advantages of an aircraft carrier is its ability to sail in international waters. This means it doesn't interfere with any territorial sovereignty. So, there's no need for overflight authorizations from third-party countries. This significantly reduces the times and transit distances of aircraft, which in turn increases their availability time in the combat zone. Currently, there are 47 active aircraft carriers worldwide. These massive vessels are operated by 14 different navies. The United States Navy operates 11 of these, and they're not just any aircraft carriers. These are large, nuclear-powered fleet carriers, each capable of carrying around 80 fighters. These are the largest carriers in the world. And get this, the total combined deck space of these U.S. carriers is twice the size of all other nations combined. Now, when we talk about these massive vessels, one critical thing is speed and stealth. Why are these important? Well, there are a few reasons. First off, these carriers need to be ready to move at a moment's notice, able to be deployed anywhere around the globe swiftly. But it's not just about getting from point A to point B quickly. Speed is also a key factor in evading detection and targeting from potential enemy forces. But there's more to it than just evasion. A high-speed aircraft carrier has another advantage. It increases the wind over the deck, which is a boost in wind that helps fixed-wing aircraft carry more fuel and ammunition, enhancing their operational capabilities. To effectively evade nuclear submarines, these carriers need to maintain a speed of more than 30 knots. That's pretty fast for such a gigantic vessel, isn't it? Aircraft carriers are some of the largest warships out there, and there's a good reason for that. They need a lot of deck space because these vessels are designed to carry out a wide range of missions. Now, when we say diverse mission sets, we mean it. An aircraft carrier isn't just a floating runway, it's a base of diplomatic activity, a powerful tool for projecting force, and a rapid response unit for crises. But that's not all. These carriers can launch land attacks from the sea, serve as a base for helicopters and amphibious assault forces, and engage in anti-surface warfare. They're also equipped for defensive counter-air operations, which is a fancy way of saying they can defend themselves against airborne threats. There are different types of aircraft carriers. First up, we have the aircraft cruiser. Then there's the amphibious assault ship, which comes in various subtypes, and the anti-submarine warfare carrier, designed specifically to combat submarine threats. Next, we have the balloon carrier and balloon tenders, followed by the escort carrier and the fleet carrier. The flight deck cruiser is another type, as is the helicopter carrier and the light aircraft carrier. We also have the sea control ship, the seaplane tender, and seaplane carriers. Last but not least, we have the utility carrier, which was mainly used in the U.S. Navy in the decade after World War II to ferry aircraft. Now, it's important to know that some of these types are not strictly defined as aircraft carriers by some sources. But regardless of the specifics, each of these vessels plays a crucial role in naval operations. The construction journey of the Gerald R. Ford began on August 11, 2005, and its keel was laid down on the 13th of November, 2009, and it was later christened on November 9, 2013. When Gerald R. Ford entered the fleet, it replaced the decommissioned USS Enterprise, which ended its 51 years of active service on December 2012, and although it was originally scheduled for delivery in 2015, the Gerald R. Ford was delivered to the Navy on May 31, 2017, and was formally commissioned by President Donald Trump on July 22, 2017. The ship embarked on her first deployment on October 4, 2022. As of 2024, she holds the title of the world's largest aircraft carrier and the largest warship ever constructed. In 2006, a proposal was made to amend the name of the CVN-78 to the USS Gerald Ford, which was signed by President George W. Bush the same year. On the 10th of September 2008, the U.S. Navy took a significant step forward. They signed a contract worth $5.1 billion with Northrop Grumman Shipbuilding in Newport News, Virginia. The goal? To design and construct the carrier. But the work had already begun. Northrop had initiated the advanced construction of the carrier under a whopping $2.7 billion contract back in 2015. Back in August 2011, it was reported that the building of the carrier was halfway done, and by the 24th of May 2012, a significant milestone was reached. The vessel was completed up to the waterline when the critical lower bow was lifted into place. This marked the 390th lift of the nearly 500 integral modular components from which the vessel was assembled. In a press release on November 8, it was reported that construction had reached 87% structural completion, and by December 19, the construction was almost completed. As of 2013, the estimated construction costs were $12.8 billion, which was 22% over the budget, and an additional $4.7 billion were allocated. However, due to budget constraints, there were further reports about a potential 2-year delay beyond 2016 in the completion of Gerald R. Ford. By 2018, The construction costs had escalated to $13.027 billion due to unforeseen complications with the nuclear propulsion system and munitions elevators. This skyrocketing cost made the Gerald R. Ford the most expensive aircraft carrier to be built for the U.S. Navy to date. The Gerald R. Ford is armed with cutting-edge technology. It's equipped with an AN/SPY-3 and AN/SPY-4, also known as the ESA, the Active Electronically Scanned Array Multifunction Multiband Radar. This advanced radar system is part of the ship's robust defense capabilities. Before we delve further, let us understand the importance of the AESA. The AESA is a type of phased array antenna that can electronically steer the beam of radio waves to point in different directions, all without physically moving the antenna. Each antenna element is connected to a small, solid-state transmit-receive module, or TRM, under the control of a computer, which performs the functions of a transmitter and/or receiver for the antenna. The AESA is a more advanced, sophisticated second-generation version of the original Passive Electronically Scanned Array, or PESA. Unlike PESAs, which can only emit a single beam of radio waves at a single frequency at a time, the AESA can radiate multiple beams of radio waves at multiple frequencies simultaneously. This ability allows AESA radars to spread their signal emissions across a wider range of frequencies. This makes them more difficult to detect over background noise, allowing ships and aircraft to radiate powerful radar signals while remaining stealthy. Plus, they're more resistant to jamming. But that's not all. The Gerald R. Ford also features the ship's self-defense system, specifically the Mk2 Baseline 10 of the Mod 6 variant command and control system. This system further enhances the ship's defensive capabilities. The island of this ship is shorter than the Nimitz-class ships, and one of the most significant innovations is the replacement of traditional steam catapults with the Electromagnetic Aircraft Launch System, or EMALS. This system was developed by General Atomics for the United States Navy and is a revolutionary electromagnetic catapult system that launches carrier-based aircraft using a catapult powered by a linear induction motor. This innovative approach offers a host of benefits, including greater efficiency and precision, because it has several advantages over steam catapults. One of its advantages is that it is less heavy, doesn't take up space, and requires less maintenance and manpower. And here's the catch. EMALS uses no steam at all. This makes it a perfect fit for the U.S. Navy's planned all-electric ships. With this system, the Gerald R. Ford could accomplish 25% more aircraft launches per day than the Nimitz class, and required less crew to operate. Back in 2014, a report from the Director of Operational Test and Evaluation pointed out several critical issues with the ship systems, and that some of them were not up to the mark after being tested and found wanting. The Navy took this feedback seriously and implemented a detailed testing program. The goal was clear: resolve all performance issues before these systems were installed on the aircraft carrier. Fast forward to June 2016, and other problems were discovered with the main turbine generators. But the Navy didn't back down. They came up with a fix that required design changes. This fix was installed and verified, and finally in 2017 all issues were fixed, and the carrier was fully operational. This ship has a displacement of about 100,000 long tons when fully loaded. It's a massive structure, with a length ranging from 1,092 feet to 1,106 feet. The beam measures 134 feet at the waterline and expands to 256 feet at the flight deck. The height? A towering 250 feet. The ship boasts 25 decks and is powered by two Bechtel A1B PWR nuclear reactors. These reactors are fueled by highly enriched uranium at 93.5%. The propulsion system consists of 4 shafts, allowing the ship to reach speeds over 30 knots. What's more, This ship has a range of approximately 25 years before it needs a midlife refuel. It can accommodate a complement of 4,539 personnel, including the air wing. In terms of sensors and processing systems, the ship is equipped with the AN/SPY-43 multifunction radar and the AN/SPY-4 volume search radar. These systems use X-band and S-band active electronically scanned arrays, respectively. The ship's armament includes surface-to-air missiles with 2 RIM-162 ESSM launchers and 2 RIM-116 RAM. It also has 3 Phalanx CIWS, 4 Mk-38, 25 mm machine gun systems, and 4 M250 caliber machine guns. And let's not forget about its aircraft carrying abilities. This ship can carry over 75 aircraft, which is a big deal for the U.S. Navy. The 31st of May, 2017 was a significant day in the history of the U.S. Navy because that was the day Newport News Shipbuilding delivered the Gerald R. Ford. And from that day forward, her status was updated to Special in Service, and in a few weeks, specifically on the 22nd of July, 2017, the Gerald R. Ford was formally commissioned into the United States Navy. The victory was, however, short-lived as serious issues were reported about the ship. According to a report by the GAO in the middle of 2020, the aircraft carrier was facing significant challenges with the operation of her weapons elevators, which meant that the ship was not ready for combat. The reason: ongoing issues with the electromagnetic aircraft launch system, also known as EMALS. This system was built with efficiency in mind and was to achieve 4,166 aircraft launches between operational mission failures. However, it only managed to achieve 181 launches. This was a major setback. On the 20th of March, 2021, the Gerald R. Ford and the Italian aircraft carrier Cavour performed a ready-for-operations drill. After this, the issues with the aircraft carriers were fixed and were deemed to have met their initial operating capabilities. Quite a journey, isn't it? On October 4, 2022, Gerald R. Ford set sail from Naval Station Norfolk to participate in a task force exercise, or TFX for short. This wasn't just any ordinary journey, though. The carrier was on a mission to conduct operations and training exercises with NATO allies and partners all across the Atlantic Ocean. Now, let's talk about who was on board. Gerald R. Ford's Carrier Strike Group 12 was quite the team. It included Carrier Air Wing 8, the USS Normandy, and Destroyer Squadron 2, which was made up of the USS Ramage, the USS McFall, and the USS Thomas Hudner. But that's not all. They also had the auxiliaries USNS Joshua Humphreys and USNS Robert E. Peary, and the United States Coast Guard cutter, the USCGC Hamilton. On the 26th of November, 2022, the ship made a triumphant return to Naval Station Norfolk, which marked the completion of her inaugural deployment to the Atlantic Ocean. However, let us go back in time a bit. In October, the ship left Naval Station Norfolk for a task force exercise to conduct operations and training exercises alongside our NATO allies and partners throughout the Atlantic Ocean. The ship wasn't alone on this mission. It was part of Carrier Strike Group 12, which included Carrier Air Wing 8, the USS Normandy, and Destroyer Squadron 2 with the USS Ramage, USS McFall, and USS Thomas Hudner. Also part of the group were the auxiliaries, USNS Joshua Humphreys and USNS Robert E. Peary, and the United States Coast Guard cutter USCGC Hamilton, which was truly a multinational effort to showcase the strength and unity of NATO's alliance. On the 28th of October, 2022, the aircraft carrier made her first port visit outside of her home country, to Halifax Harbor in Nova Scotia, Canada, which is Canada's largest military installation and the home port of the Royal Canadian Navy's Atlantic Fleet. And finally, on the 26th of November of the same year, the Gerald R. Ford returned to Norfolk, bringing her inaugural deployment to a close. Now, when we compare the Ford-class aircraft carrier to older models of the U.S. Navy's aircraft carriers, we see some significant differences. The Ford-class carrier has a much stealthier cross-section. This means it can operate for longer periods in a contested battle space. But all this technology and stealth comes with a hefty price tag. Building a Ford-class carrier costs a mind-boggling $13 billion, and even basic maintenance of this ship runs up to $700 million annually. Future versions of the Ford-class carrier promise to bring down these costs significantly, but there are those who argue that this is still too much to spend on a single ship. Despite being huge and expensive, these aircraft carriers are easy targets for enemies. What the U.S. really needs are more submarines that can go deep and strike hard. Imagine if submarines could also launch drones from their missile tubes to support air operations. How cool would that be? The U.S. military should also invest more in hypersonic missiles and space weapons that can hit any target on the planet in minutes. Thanks for watching. While you are still here, click on the link on your screen to check out another of our videos. See you there.